Hey guys, it's Peyton, and today I'm going to be doing something that's going to be very interesting, is all I must say. And I'm going to be reading 5-star reviews of books that I personally hated. If you liked these books, just know I respect your opinion, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. For whatever reason that I probably will discuss in this video, I didn't like them. And I made a similar video to this one where I reacted to 1-star reviews of my favorite books, so I'll link that in the cards wherever those are, and I'll put it in the description so you can check that one out. That one was super fun, and it seemed like y'all enjoyed it. I was like, let's do something fun where I can just have a laugh. The first one that came to mind for a book I didn't like is The Betrothed by Kira Cass. This is the same writer as the Selection series. I love that trilogy. There's 2 more books that were added onto it, but like the trilogy, the original trilogy, a classic for YA literature. Are they actually well written? No. That's why one of her newer books, The Betrothed, is such a disaster. I don't know, something about The Bachelor with a Prince just sucked me in as a kid, and then I reread them. I made a whole freaking vlogs on it, so I'll link those down below. I reread those, and I still had a lot of fun with them, and I think that's the only thing that I'm ever going to really enjoy from this author. So The Betrothed, I read that. It was a 1-star book, and it's really hard for me to give something a 1-star. Like, I rarely ever do that, because I'm a person that's not that critical of a reader, but that one I just couldn't stand behind. Okay, we're gonna go into Goodreads. Very nervous. Okay, The Betrothed. 1-star review, it seems. I didn't even write a review. I just said 1 stars and goodbye. So some of my friends have rated it low, but let's go into those 5-star reviews. I have a feeling it's probably going to be younger people, which, you know, that's totally fine because I was a young Kira Cass stan as well. I got older and now it's just really nostalgic factors for me, probably. The first one here, I'll just go for it. I am not targeting you. If I read your review and you feel offended, I am so sorry. I'm just trying to have fun here. Like, it's nothing serious. It says, I honestly don't know why so many people didn't like this book, but for me, it was awesome. I think it's more my taste, or I was in a really good mood when I read this. The ending was sad and brought me to tears. I had no idea there was a second book because my heart couldn't settle with this ending, so I'm definitely going to proceed with the next book. Well, that's pretty straightforward, but honestly, the first sentence is what got me because, like, the book was just so badly written. I'll have my favorite books, and I usually can still say, like, I can understand why someone wouldn't like this. Because me with the Selection, those books, like, they're really not good. But I still find my own enjoyment with it. So I'm glad this person had their own enjoyment with The Betrothed. Like, this is the new era for the Kira Cass people, and I'm glad they're enjoying it. But, like, at least consider why people wouldn't like this book, because I don't know, the characters were just so bland. I know, like, people would probably say that about the Selection books as well, but something was different for me. Like, maybe it's, once again, probably the nostalgic factor. I just felt like the insta-love, there was just no chemistry whatsoever. And then I don't want to spoil the book for everybody, but the ending, from my memory, was the stupidest freaking ending ever. It pissed me off so bad. Like, I just want to tell you, but, like, should I tell you? Okay, I'm gonna hold up a peace sign. So for the people that do care about spoilers for this book, once I stop peace signing, you can, like, unmute the video. But the bitch killed one of the main dudes. Like, it was the dude, the love interest. Like, we had to build up with this whole love interest thing that was insta-lovey and stupid, and then he just died. I mean, I think this is what happened. Like, my brain is honestly mush, but this is my memory of this book. Like, the dude just died, and, like, and for what? Like, why did we have this whole book and then he just dies? I don't get it, but the rant is over. Okay, let's go into another review. Let's see. This one starts off saying, I am so horrified, so I'm intrigued by that. Like, why are you horrified by a book you love? I mean, it can happen, actually. I am so horrified. I absolutely love this book, but I am completely devastated with what has happened in this book. I suggest not reading this book if you are super emotional. I suggest just not reading the book at all. But, like, you can try anyways. Maybe you'll be emotional like this person in the way you're supposed to be. Because I'm angry emotional. Like, I was not happy. Like, it was not going well for me. I am not emotional, and yet I found myself crying a little bit. I know, wimpy, right? You're not wimpy. You know, books can get to you sometimes. But I couldn't help it. And if you have read the book, Heartless by Marissa Meyer, another one of my favorite authors, and can still stand to read it more than once, then I say you can read this book. Thank you. I still haven't read Heartless by Marissa Meyer, actually. You know, like, if you really enjoyed this book, I'm happy for you. Like, I just can't understand. Like, I really just want to read a 1-star review that gives me everything that I need about it. Honestly, hold up. We'll just read one because, like, I don't even fully know how to tell you because I haven't read this in a while. I read it when it came out. What I liked: awkward silence, crickets chirping. Yeah, literally though, I don't remember a single thing that I liked either. I think the cover's really pretty. Like, it's a really beautiful book. Under the Dust Jacket too. What I disliked: the main character was annoying from the very first chapter. Thought she'd improve, but big nope. Characters lacked personality. This book was falsely being pitched as steamy YA. Well, that was complete lies. There was probably only 5 very basic kissing scenes. Honestly, my best friend Brittany is a writer, and she gave like 1 or 2 kissing scenes in this book she wrote. And it's a great book, but bitch, give me more kisses. I just attacked you, Brittany. I'm so sorry, but like, final thoughts: I really loved the selection series. Yes, even with Princess Edelyn. I, like many, have eagerly been waiting for Kiracast to release something new. I guess maybe my expectations were too high. I don't know. Okay, so that's interesting. So another person who liked the selection series a lot also hates the Betrothed. Because I'm like, if you didn't like the selection at all, you're obviously not gonna like anything else Kiracast ever does. Because it's really not great. Like, her writing is just not great. But let's move on. A book I didn't like was A Court of Frost and Starlight. So let's look that one up. Yeah, I gave this one a 2 stars, and this is coming from a Sarah J. Maas trash type of person who has very low standards with her books for some reason. It's not very hard to please me, apparently, with these books. This is a great catch with the main heroes of the series. The last book was an all-out epic. This one, though a lot shorter, is still filled with Sarah J. Maas's great storytelling and character development. I mean, honestly, from my memory of this book, like, it's a little novella, and it was like acting like it was gonna be a whole ass new book with this pretty little cover. Like, we thought we were getting something, but it really just made it weird. It was, from what I remember, like Christmas shopping. I don't know, like, it was like a shopping book. And Rhysand got creepy because I was a big stan of the ACOTAR books, and I read them when they were released, and I haven't read them ever since, so it's very blurry in my mind, but I was a big Rhysand bitch. Obsessed. I made a whole friendship bracelet out of that, and I wore it every day. This one, I think we get a perspective from Rhysand's point of view, and him and Feyre having some steamy moments, and he was just weird. Like, I don't even remember exactly what he did, but he was just so dominant in a way that it was weird, and I don't know. There were some lines in there that was just creepy as frick. Yes, there is nowhere near as much action in this book, and the characters are not moved along as much as I would have wanted, but there are definitely important issues uncovered here that need to be explored later. This is more of whet the appetite. I don't really like that saying. That kind of creeps me out. For the next huge chapter, but almost as importantly, a much needed... I can't read today. What's going on here? I don't know if this is written in a way or if it's my brain. But I do agree that it is like a thing to link the next part of the ACOTAR series because she is continuing, I believe. I haven't read the new one yet. Like, I've had it sitting there and I haven't touched it at all. I still don't feel like it was very necessary. Anybody that's read that new one, like, let me know if A Court of Frost and Starlight really did anything, because I know Nesta is the main character of that book, and she did have a little bit in A Court of Frost and Starlight. So did it really add anything to the reading experience of the new book? Or was it just a thing? Like a cash grab? I feel like it was more of a cash grab. I just don't think it was that necessary of a book. So another book I didn't really like was Infinity Sun, which I made a whole video about, and it's really upsetting because I've met this author several times and he's a really cool person. Love that guy, like, really cool dude. But this one, it just wasn't what I was wanting it to be, and I was really nervous to read it because it was getting a lot of bad reviews, and then I got an arc of the book, and I was like, is this going to be anything I like? Because, I don't know, I can have some very, like, easy love for a book. Like, I'm not a very critical reader, as I said, so if I found entertainment, then boom, it's great for me, but it's also easy for me to be bored. I don't know, I have to connect to the characters, and I think this was one of those where I just didn't. I was like starting to enjoy this book when I first started reading it, and then it got really annoying because one of the characters got really annoying. This was so effing good. I am genuinely confused by the number of bad reviews this has gotten, because personally this was everything I could have possibly asked for. Honestly, I'm glad for you because I really wanted to enjoy it and it just didn't happen for me. I've gotten increasingly picky about fantasy recently, but this was the perfect mix of characters and plot and of sad and hopeful. The world building was so vivid and wonderful, and although it was tropey, it was also very self-aware and subverted a lot of tropes. Also, the characters were fantastic, and I love them, and they are my kids. Well, you got children now. This is all valid. Like, everybody is allowed to feel how they feel about a book. Reading is subjective, so it's never gonna be everybody has one single freaking thought on a book. So I'm glad this person enjoyed it. Like, I'm not gonna be hating on it. But the characters, I feel like that's what they were, like, all about. And the characters, for me, like, there was this one character named Brighton, I think, and he was like a social media influencer. Even though this is like a superhero book, it was kind of a weird combo going on here. And he just got so obsessed with fame that, like, the ending of the book was just so freaking annoying because he was just such a selfish character. And at first I was really interested in his character because, you know, I do social media as well. Like, I'd make YouTube videos and he was making YouTube videos. So that was cool to see in, like, some sort of fantastical urban fantasy thing, you know? I was excited for that. But no. He ended up being really self-absorbed, and it wasn't something that he had a character arc with. And maybe it will be with the second book, Infinity Reaper, I think that's what it's called. But honestly, I just wasn't sold enough on the world and the characters enough to want to continue with the second one. But if there is a sort of character arc with Brighton and he becomes less of a self-absorbed asshole pretty much who thinks he's just better than everybody, then yay, like, that's good. It's just, I'm not willing to read the second one right now because there's so many books I want to read. Okay, here's another review. Want to read? This book is so exciting and cool, and I tore through it in a day. It's a fantasy action blockbuster with a gay lead, which is like all I ever want in life, which is true. Like, I feel the same way. I thought the action scenes were really fun and exciting, and I think the tension between the brothers was really well done. Also, I wasn't expecting this, but I thought the male body image stuff in this was really good. I don't remember that stuff. It's been a while, but, you know, this book isn't all bad. I think it was the characters and the fantasy world. It just didn't work for me. So, like, if people connect with the characters, though, themselves, and they're here for it, I'm happy for you. I know people are probably like, Peyton, you're supposed to be hating on everybody right now. But, like, I'm not. I'm trying to let people like what they like, okay? But a book I freaking hate so bad that I read in December, so it wasn't that long ago, was One Day in December by somebody. And let's see how I feel about these reviews, because I genuinely don't understand how people like this book. I don't even know why I gave it a 2 stars. I think it was because while the book pissed me off so much because it's a book all about cheating over several years and hurting your best friend because you're cheating with her boyfriend, you know? That pissed me off so bad because the friend was such a good person. Like, she was great. I think I didn't give it a 1 star completely because some of the book was entertaining. Like, I was still reading the book actively because I did buy it. You know, I wanted to finish it. I spent my money on it. But was it the most infuriating reading experience ever because the 2 main characters are just terrible people and those were the 2 point of views that we just got? Yeah. 5-star reviews. There's actually quite a few people that are just obsessed with this book, but then there's people like that booktuber Chandler. It says if you're gonna write a book about cheating, at least make it interesting. I mean, it was a little bit interesting to me, or I would have had a harder time finishing it. I just feel like I could not get behind the book because it really did promote cheating in the end, and I just don't promote that stuff. Here's a review. Oh, there's a bunch of memes. A Schitt's Creek meme. I love that. Currently watching that show. So what's going on here? What are the words? First, a hearty thank you to my TBR jar for forcing me to read this absolutely charming book. I do not consider myself a serious romance reader, and it wouldn't be a stretch to say I went into one day in December with a fair amount of trepidation. I actually believe one of my comments upon starting was that I thought the chances were 50-50 I would DNF it. That thought seems utterly ridiculous now. Honestly, I don't really DNF books very frequently. I will put things down and continue them later, but do I ever really just fully be reading a book and be like, I hate this, bye? Like, it's very few, like, because if I spent my money on it, I'm trying to get myself to read it. And if I have to get an audiobook out to, like, help me do it, that's what I do. I am floored by how much I actually loved this story. The humor was perfect for me. I loved the pace, and I fully appreciated how messy, frustrating, and never easy. So is life, am I right? I see that point. But like, these characters are messy because they're being so terrible to the freaking other character. The best friends, it's two girls, okay? And this girl, the main character, is like, oh my gosh, I saw this guy on the street the other day. He's like the hottest guy ever, and I'm gonna be in love with him. He is my man. He's my soulmate. I didn't speak to him at all, but that is the guy that I'm supposed to be with, blah, blah, blah. Then her best friend gets a new boyfriend after a year of searching for this guy. Like, it's the only guy she can think about. She's like, I can't date any other guys because of that one guy that I saw one freaking time. So then the best friend introduces her new boyfriend, and it's the guy that she saw on the street, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, I'm in love with this man, but she keeps it to herself for years, and the guy is also in love with her for some freaking reason, and they're both just, like, obsessed with each other, and they, like, emotionally cheat, and the best friend just has no freaking idea for years and years and years, and it's the worst thing ever! So, while I agree, it's a messy book, and that's how life is, I just can't get behind, like, the whole messages behind the book, because if we're gonna have a happy ending after everything these characters have done, I don't support it! Why did I sound like that? It reminded me of Youngblood. That guy who sings sometimes, because I went to a concert. Okay, let's continue. It's a long book, but upon finishing it, I feel it could have been shorter. Oh, I thought I was about to agree, but then it said, but upon finishing it, I feel it couldn't have been shorter. Honestly, it would have been nice if it was shorter because I would have to spend less time reading it. I think the whole book needed to be deleted. It pissed me off so bad. Like, I'm very passionate about cheating. Like, don't you be doing that. Like, don't be in the relationship if you're trying to be with some other people. So, that's me yelling at the main guy in this. Like, why was he still with that girl? They just suck. Those two characters suck. So, yeah, I can still understand, you know, be invested in the drama for this book, but I can't support the messages. I just can't. So I'm gonna do one last one because I've done 4 already, so I feel like 5 books. That's a pretty solid number to look at. Controversial pick, Zenith by Sasha Osberg and Lindsay Cummings. But I gave it a 2.75 stars. Who gives a book 2.75 stars? Why so specific? I don't really know. Let's find a 5-star review. I don't absolutely hate this book. I just was disappointed in it, for real. But I also can see why someone would really love this book. Like, it has a fun concept, and it's space, and it's like female Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it's fun. So, 3 years ago, I loved this book from start to finish, and there is no part of this book that I don't like. This sci-fi world is one of the best I have ever read. It is a work of art. Okay, whoa. That is a pretty intense claim, but I'll let you make the claim. Dang. The plot was very elaborate and thought out. Macy, what's going on here? She's hopping around my bed like there's a whole freaking war happening downstairs. What is she doing? The plot was very elaborate and thought out, the story unravels beautifully, and I was not disappointed by anything. I have been waiting to read this book ever since it was announced, and it flew past all of my expectations. Well, dang, they seem to really love this book. I'm happy for them. I had to end up listening to the audiobook, I think, because I just couldn't get into it for some reason. Like, I think, once again, it's one of those things where I didn't really connect with the characters like I thought I was. I do remember I was interested in how the book ended. Like, it had something happen. Obviously, things happen in books. And I was interested to see the play out of that. But once again, like, I feel like I would have to reread it to ever read the sequel, and it just wasn't something I was like obsessed with or anything that I ever really wanted to, you know, reread it. Like, I didn't need to reread it. This is talking about the characters. It says they are all amazing people with great personalities and a family-like bond that I love. That's once again the thing that I had the most problems with. I just didn't feel connected the way I wanted to. It was so many point of views in the book as well, and it just was too much for me. I feel like if I was more invested in the characters, like, I would look past things like the world and like the things that are going on. I feel like if I had been, once again, more invested in the characters, with the ending, the plot twist or whatever, Macy, what the frick, I would have probably read the next one maybe. This 5-star review said, "What the actual F did I just read? Reminded me a lot of Throne of Glass in a weird way, but I love it." And I feel like I was reminded of Throne of Glass too, because they released like a part 1 of Zenith, and you can see it. And I was really young. Let's read my review of the first little snippet they gave us from 2016. I reviewed this and I gave it 5 stars. And I feel like I remembered saying something like it was similar to Selena Sardouthian. Like, I was in love with Selena Sardouthian. So to see anyone similar, like, I was just like, because that was my middle school bitch that I read about. Like, that's who I cared about. The main character in this, like, kind of gave that energy. But Zenith Part 1 really blew me away. I decided to buy it because I support both the authors. And now I also support the characters. I was so cringy. Andy is so interesting with such a dark past that is intertwined with Dex's. Why am I using these words? Intertwined. So my camera decided to stop recording. So now I'm back, but yeah, we have pretty much finished the video, I would say. To conclude, I think I'm cringy and I was trying too hard with that review. I feel like I have a hard time being very negative about books. The only one I really was coming for everybody for was One Day in December. Like, that one pisses me off so bad, and it was a recent read. If you're just really attacking me with a bad message, that's when I'm gonna get the most heated. If it's just my personal, like, subjective feelings about the writing and the characters and the plot and the world building, you know, that's my personal opinions, and I'm not going to, like, throw my opinions onto you and say that it is absolutely terrible and nobody else will like it. I have a hard time. Like, I was trying my best, you know, because I know how it feels when I read a bad review of something I love so much. I'm just like, bitch, I see it differently, you know? And I don't want to be made to feel stupid. So I definitely have respect for all of these authors, even the One Day in December lady, you know, like, she's doing her thing. Like, I'm not throwing any shade here. Like, they're all doing their stuff, but, you know, negative reviews are important. I always believe that, because how is anybody gonna know if they're gonna like a certain book or not without other readers' reviews? But that's pretty much it for this video. It was a whole rant, you know? Thanks for joining with me. I hope you enjoyed all of this. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like it, comment down below. Have a good day. Please subscribe. Make sure to follow all my social medias, which are linked down below. And go click the bell button, which is right by the subscribe button, which you should already clicked. And goodbye.